Man, I'm gonna tell you one thing, man. When you look at Georgia now as a team, we're definitely missing, I feel like, the physical nature when we talk about our O-line that we had when Sam Pittman was still the offensive line coach. Because our run game is struggling to get going. And another crazy thing when we talk about Arkansas is I remember when they hired Sam Pittman, I was like, why out of everyone they could hire, why would they hire Sam Pittman? We know why now. He was the chosen one for this Arkansas job because he has completely flipped this team around. 3-7 last year, 4-0 right now, as they get ready to start their SEC road trip or their trip. I mean, they started last week with that win over Texas A&M, which me and you both saw coming.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was pretty clear. Texas A&M's quarterback situation is not good. Texas A&M's offense is they're like how Georgia was. What year was it? Was it 2019 where we had no offense? Was it 2019? It wasn't last year was bad too for the most part.
I don't know.
But it still don't. I still don't think.
But we had a set quarterback though. I think whenever I think of Georgia with like
last year.
I think when we think of Georgia with a bad quarterback situation, I think of like the Hudson, Mason, Grayson Lambert era.
Oh my god,
that was a horrible era.
Luckily, I wasn't watching too many games then. I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I was
kind of
watching
like how I am
every
with
game. That's
how I am with the Steelers now. You know, like right now with the Steelers, we're taking a break. I'm still a fan, obviously, but we're taking a break. There's some things, you know, we've gotten a little mad at each other, and I just can't bear to watch and care about that pain anymore. But no, I mean, like that year when honestly our offense last year was bad for the most part, at least the first half of the season. But like the first half of the season, honestly, still, bro, our offense was still better than Jake Fromm's junior year. That was 2019 or 2019 going into 2020. It was still better than that, respectfully. I mean, you can agree to disagree, but that who was even our offensive coordinator? I forgot his name that quickly.
Oh my goodness, we forgot his name before.
Yeah, I still don't know.
He was our tight ends coach.
Yep, he was former Miami offensive coordinator or something like that. Everyone was trying to hype him up, like, oh, he's gonna get tight ends involved, and oh my god, he was terrible. Luckily though,
like,
Kirby's a smart guy.
I have his face in my mind, but I don't know his name.
Luckily, Kirby's a smart guy, and he was like, look, after one season, he got that guy up out of there. That was clutch by Kirby. Good job on that. I'll give you that. He was responsible for recruiting Darnell Washington, though, who is coming back this Saturday. We also get Tyke Smith back.
Ooh.
KJ Jefferson, at the end of the Texas A&M game, the reporter literally goes up to him. She's like, KJ, how's your knee? He goes, good. I swear to God, he just goes good. Like like he knows what's on. He knows what's coming the next week. He's like, ain't nothing keeping me out of this game against Georgia. Because if you're Arkansas, you want a game like this. I mean, respectfully, they play Bama every year, so you do get a game like this every year. But not only do they get to play Bama, the supposedly most dominant team in college football, but they also get to play literally the second most dominant team in college football when they face Georgia this Saturday. The two most dominant teams by far, because when you look at dominance in the NCAA, you see right now you see Georgia and Bama, and Bama was shaky against Florida. So honestly, I think Georgia could be the most dominant team in college football now. One thing I'll tell you is there's a lot of talk about last season's game, but both teams have become so different since last year. You got to consider that first game of the season. It was shaky for a lot of teams because you didn't have spring practice, you didn't have the spring training, you know, and there was a lot going on with every team. Arkansas with some injuries, Georgia first year offensive coordinator. So one thing we got to do is throw out maybe not even really Stetson Bennett because he brought us back, but Dewan Mathis. But we will talk about Stetson Bennett later. But I mean, there was a lot going on last season, and we've kind of moved past that, and this is a new year. We're seeing a new Arkansas team. Their quarterback is not Felipe Franks, so that 3-7 record makes total sense that they had last year when Felipe Franks is your quarterback. They got a new quarterback. He's not Felipe Franks. He's kind of he can run. It seems like their starting quarterback and their backup quarterback can do the same thing. They're both like scrambling out of the pocket type guys. KJ Jefferson, man, he'll kill you with his arm if you allow him to, and he can do some running. So what do we got here? They also have Boyd on the defense, on the offense, who is PFF's wide receiver number 3 when we talk about the draft this upcoming season. What do you got on this Arkansas team, man?
So when I look at this game, personally for me, I look at the defenses. I look at how the defenses match up against offense, and we've already talked about this during the Texas A&M Arkansas game. This game is going to come down to the trenches, and I told you already. I think Georgia wins our defense against their offensive line. I think we win that matchup easily. I think our main problem is our offensive line versus their defensive line. But I feel like our offense has gotten a lot better this year, that even though we might not win that battle, we will have just enough to get past them on the offensive side. I feel like Georgia's going to win. They have them as a 17.5-point favorite. I don't think we're going to win by more than 14 points, I'm being honest. But I think Georgia, we do walk away with this. But it's really going to be a defensive battle, this game is. I really, and usually when I say this stuff, it's a high-scoring game. Or if I say if it's an offensive battle, it's a low-scoring. But I truly believe this is a defensive game. Everything Arkansas talked about last year, when you talked about Arkansas, was their defense. And those guys just became, I mean, every time I think of Arkansas, I think of Bumper Pool. He's a linebacker for them. He's a great linebacker. He tore us up last year. And I don't know, Sam Pittman's got this offense moving how he wants it to. The defense is playing great for Arkansas. They're ranked number 8 in the nation. Who would have thought 2 years ago? Worst team in the SEC, one of the worst teams in the SEC, being ranked 8.
They probably were the worst team. They were on like a 2-year losing streak or something like that. They got pretty
faked
bad.
Out by North Texas on a fair catch fake. That was amazing. Anyways,
oh God.
I'm rooting for Arkansas. I'm a Georgia fan, but I'm rooting for Arkansas to be good this year. Sam Pittman, love him. Same with Michigan State, Mel Tucker, love him. But when it comes down to this game, obviously I want Georgia to win. But I do think Georgia has the edge on Arkansas on the defensive and offensive side. I think the only thing that Arkansas could get with us, I think they can stop our run game, which our run game has been very lackluster this year. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Honestly, I'm gonna give Arkansas. I'm gonna give Arkansas offense, and let me tell you why. I know it's crazy, and I know it sounds crazy, but you got Burks, you got Boyd back there. Boyd can line up anywhere. You can put him wherever you need to. He had a big touchdown against Texas A&M. But the thing is, one reason why I'm skeptical about it is the quarterback situation. I like KJ Jefferson. I'm interested to see him against a good defense. He hasn't really faced one yet, and a lot of guys talk about Texas A&M, but when we talk about a good defense, really in the nation, you will look at Texas A&M because Jimbo has done a decent job building that team, but they're nowhere near as dominant as teams, say, like Oregon, Iowa. Iowa's got a great defense this year, and Georgia. When you just look at that team, front seven's the most deadliest in the nation. Our cornerbacks will get tested this week. This will be really I'm not gonna say it's gonna be their first test because respectively Clemson is looking lackluster, but they got some great wide receivers on there. Justin Ross, they had another guy come back who didn't play last season, and Kelly Ringo still hasn't allowed a catch all season. I saw that on PFF, so that's insane.
I like that stat, but 2 pass interferences. They don't want to talk about that stat. They were
he's
allowed.
He's allowed no catches, but he does have 2 suplexes on his resume, 2 midair suplexes. I guess that I don't know if that gets him anything, but then you got Deion Kendrick on the other side, a first-round prospect. We get Tyke Smith back to probably play safety. I remember when you said we were talking about where he was going to line up, and I was telling you there's no way he plays dime because Brenny has done a great job there. I think Tyke's gonna rotate from dime to safety.
He's an all-around defensive back. He can do everything on that side. He's a senior. He has the experience. He can do it.
I want to get Scene off the field when we're in run situations when we're in pass situations, because as good as Scene is, he's really only good at maybe helping stop the run. He's quick and fast. He can get to the ball, but he can't play coverage that good, and he messes up a lot. He's had some clutch plays this season, don't get me wrong, but I don't really trust Scene in coverage too much. Some of the bigger passes we've allowed this season have been because of Scene. I expect Arkansas to run hurry up offense. And I know Sam Pittman's watching film, obviously. But one thing I'll say is, one place Georgia has been killed this year, when we have been killed, was when South Carolina ran the hurry-up offense and was catching us off guard. That's going to be Arkansas's best chance, especially when you start a drive off with some momentum. You got to run that hurry up offense. Keep Georgia's players on the field. The players that you don't want them to be able to rotate every play. If you allow that, you're screwed.
If you take one of our biggest strengths on our defense out, you can do numbers on our defense. Our biggest strength is, we have an amazing best front seven in the nation, but it's our depth. Our depth is crazy.
If you see Amir Speed on the field, hurry up offense. Let him stay on the field and attack him, because he's our weakest link on defense.
You even said you bring Jordan Davison for the first two downs.
Yeah,
that are gonna be like passing plays, and then running plays, and then you put Jalen Carter in for that third down, which is obviously gonna be a passing play, and Jalen Carter's gonna make that pressure in there. And that's the thing, we can switch out these guys, and these guys are all, like Shane Bieber said, they're all 5-star guys. 105-star guys on defense.
The real honest sad part is there's really no break in our defensive line. I mean, be literal, like legit here. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What second team defensive lineman is not a threat on the field that we have? So it's like, regardless if you rotate the defense, I mean, if you try to hurry up offense, we're gonna have those playmakers on defense. And Nakobe Dean will be in the middle of the field. He hasn't really been a guy that's really substituted at all this season. He's been the guy on that field. He's been on every play.
He's been our Roquan Smith this year. He's
been our Roquan Smith. He's everywhere, and that's a good thing when we talk about KJ Jefferson is Nakobe Dean will definitely stay in the middle of the field to make sure he doesn't run anywhere. But the good thing about Georgia is I'm not so much worried about Arkansas's run game. I'm morely worried about KJ Jefferson scrambling, because that, honestly, respectively, that is one of Georgia's all-time weaknesses, is quarterback stat run.
That's one of the things we did talk about, is everyone's been pointing out this Arkansas's run blocking is top tier in the nation, but they don't want to talk about how Georgia's defense is the top at stopping running. So then you got to look at the passing. And like you just said, KJ Jefferson has wheels. He can move out the pocket and get down the field. And we talked about this before. I told you, every time we faced a quarterback that is on that tier level of goated quarterbacks, not really goated, but, great quarterbacks like Tua, except for Joe. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever played against. But, we'll play Emory this year. We've been good at stopping the guys that can make the big plays on their feet and their arm. We've been great at it. It's when they take them out and put the backup in, who can sort of do the same thing but does it differently. That's when we struggle. We did it against Tua, Jalen Hurts, and now we got KJ Jefferson, and you just said they have a backup that basically is the same exact quarterback. That's more of what I'm worried about, is that you just said, the reporter said, how is your knee? It's good. You never know if it's good. The player's always going to tell you it's good. If they take KJ Jefferson out, the thing I'm worried about is a comeback in the second half by a backup quarterback. As a Georgia fan, this terrifies me.
Well, respectively, their backup quarterback is nowhere near game ready. If you watch the Texas A&M game, you could tell that. They went into halftime up 17-3. They finished the game with 20 points. So their backup quarterback, he's not one I'm going to say I'm scared of. But now when he ran that ball, he was doing some crazy things with it. He even trucked a guy and stared him down. It was insane. Because he's like this, he's a skinnier guy. I need to find his name. I don't want to disrespect him, but he's a skinnier guy. But he runs down the sideline and he trucks one of Texas A&M defenders, and he just looks over him like, yeah, and I'm like, what? It reminded me of like Jake Fromm freshman year, when Jake Fromm was like trucking dudes, breaking tackles and ankles. It was really cool to see. But I think Kirby's game plan will be simple. It will be to use the RPO to attack Arkansas's defense. Now, when we talk about how do we plan on stopping Arkansas's offense? Last year we didn't have a problem stopping Boyd or Burks. They had that big touchdown, but besides that, we didn't really have a problem shutting these guys down. So I'm really not too worried about that. I'm really just worried about how much KJ Jefferson is going to affect this game. And I know Kirby's main goal is going to be to keep him contained. If you force him to throw the ball, we're going to get mistakes, respectively. We're going to get mistakes out of KJ Jefferson. We get pressure on him, make him uncomfortable in the pocket. Don't give him any space to scramble. He's going to break off for some runs. I'm going to tell you that right now. He's going to do it. It's going to happen every now and then. It's going to get them first downs on 3rd and longs. The thing is that Georgia needs to keep those 3rd and longs consistent. Don't give them 3rd and shorts, because those are going to be too easy for them, because they do have that dominant offensive line. They can move. And it's Sam Pittman we're talking about. What I'm saying? The GOAT Georgia O-line coach. So, respectively, I think the guy's going to have a dominant O-line ready to face Georgia. I mean, respectively. When you talk about SEC ball, this Arkansas team dominated Texas. Yes. And I'm gonna tell you, it's simple. SEC is just different. It just means more. It just means more. And it means we want to see you in the trenches, O-line versus D-line, head to head. If your O-line can dominate, if your O-line dominates a defensive line, your offense is going to score. If your D-line dominates an offensive line, you're not going to score. And that's really what we're seeing football boil down to a lot these days. It's still that offense, but if you keep guys under pressure, it limits that offense. And a lot of guys really can't pass under pressure. KJ Jefferson is 7th in the SEC when he's facing pressure from the blitzes, so we will have to attack that. We got to make sure we're getting guys through that line. And once again, Dan Lanning is so good at disguising those blitzes and dropping. Our zone coverage is undefeated. I don't think we've allowed anything out of zone coverage all season. Most of the big throws and catches we've given up have been in man coverage, so our zone coverage is just deadly. And once again, we got Deion Kringic on one side, number 1 cornerback recruit Kelly Ringo on the other side, who hasn't allowed a catch all season. He will allow a catch this game because Arkansas has that talent. But we really haven't faced a wide receiver yet that's a threat. Vaughn maybe from South Carolina, but we're gonna get our first real test with some wide receivers, some offensive threats in this game against Arkansas, and it's a top 10 matchup, so I'm very excited for it. I haven't given a prediction yet. I want to give Arkansas the benefit of the doubt. I don't think it'll be too crazy, but Georgia just has that depth, and I think we'll see a lot from Arkansas this game. We'll really truly see what they're built from, what the future is like for Arkansas, whether they win or lose. We're going to see exactly what this Arkansas team is. But I got them falling in this one 33-17. I got to go with Georgia.
33-17.
33-17.
You know, I can ride with that. I'll give it 35-24.
Okay.
I told you I don't see us winning by 17.5 like the spread says, but I don't see us honestly not winning by more than double digits. Being honest with you.
Like this gives me that Georgia 2017 Mississippi State game, or this gives me that Georgia Tennessee game from last season. It's like I expect it to be close and aggressive up front, but once again, man, Georgia's depth is deep, and just like last year, I think in the second half or after the first quarter, we start to heat up and pull away because Arkansas is going to be keeping the same guys on the field. They don't have that depth yet. Sam Pittman still has to bring in that aggressive recruiting that we know he can do, at least with the offensive line. So he's still got some stuff to bring in, but I mean, this future for Arkansas is bright. This is one of those games you look out for an upset. But I mean, as respectful as I can be, Arkansas's got some crazy 2 games here. They got to play us, then they're facing Ole Miss, then they play Auburn, which is not that big of a deal. They're smoking Auburn. I mean, come on, especially Georgia State.
I forgot that Arkansas quarterback's name. His name's Malik Hornsby. So respect where respect is due.
Respect. got trucked a Texas A&M defender. If he ends up trucking somehow, if he plays and he trucks a Georgia defender, man, I gotta get a tattoo of him. I mean, it's just that simple. I'm just joking. I'm not gonna get a tattoo of my guy, but shouts out Arkansas, man. I have a lot of respect for this team, seriously.
Oh yeah, the way they came back.
I've actually been on their
a couple years ago.
I've been on their Instagram, and dude, the way Sam Pittman just communicates with the team, man, the atmosphere of their team after wins, I love it, dude. But obviously, Georgia's gonna have to show up. Georgia, you know what I'm saying? Like Georgia's got to get in there and put some blood in the water. You know what I'm saying? We got to get the barbecue.
I'm gonna be honest with you. We'll get to it a little bit later. It'll be a different video, but I don't, even though it's a top 10 matchup, I don't think this is gonna be game of the week. Not like pre-game. I'm talking like post-game. Like you look back on the games, they're gonna be like, this wasn't the best game of the week. We're gonna get to it. We'll get to it in another video. Yeah. But I'm saying this is not gonna be the game of the week. Yeah.
There's some other. I mean, Cincinnati and Notre Dame play. That's going to be interesting. Interesting.
Ole Miss and Bama.
Ole Miss and Bama. That's a good game.
Look. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and say on air, cause I'm always texting you and you like, dang, you going stupid with these picks. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Either Kansas State over Oklahoma, or Kansas State over Oklahoma. Go ahead and say it. Kansas State over Oklahoma. With spread or without spread. It doesn't matter.
What's the spread?
Oklahoma's a 10.5 point favorite. Kansas State is 3-1. I just see it happening. Like I told you, and I wanted to get to this as well. We'll get to it later in the whenever we do.
Oklahoma was my preseason pick. Not gonna lie. It's been 4 weeks, so I don't know. We probably should have dropped a video where we kind of update everything because it's we're
third through the season. Did we drop the preseason video?
It never dropped. No, it was a little too late. Never dropped. But we made some crazy predictions. So let me just go over a little bit.
I made a crazy prediction that came true. Yeah, and I was getting clowned for it. Clemson was gonna have 2 losses.
And that I said no because I was for sure Clemson was going to beat Georgia, but Georgia is a demon this year, so I don't know. I said Alabama would miss the playoffs, Oregon would make the playoffs, Notre Dame makes the Natty, and Georgia will not win the SEC East. But and also my dark horse for best team was Texas A&M.
Let's see. Oh my God! My dark horse was Iowa State East.
Boo.
Drop off is Florida Gators. I was slick right about that. Now they have a winning. Ooh. What they're still are they? They're not undefeated, are they? Are they undefeated?
They're no, they're not. They lost to Bama. They're 3-1.
Oh yeah, they're 3-1. Emory Jones has not played that well. People are saying he's playing better. Instagram, they were like, Emory Jones is the only quarterback to do this other than Tim Tebow. Like, man, stop trying to get that man some hype. He's thrown 5 picks. Anyways, hot takes. I said Iowa State makes the playoffs and goes undefeated. I predicted them to get upset by Baylor last week. Let's see. Clemson loses 2 games and misses out on playoffs. Lost to Georgia in an upset game. Georgia and NC State. Oh, that was such a good prediction. I'm so happy. And then Oregon, we both said this. Oregon begins their reign of dominance.
Oregon would make the playoffs.
And Oregon's looking great right now.
And I think a lot of that had to do with even if they lost to Ohio State, I thought they could sneak in. Because I said they would win out.
You want to talk about the Heisman prediction?
Oh, God. I'm looking at mine now. Oh,
You're
God.
Spencer Rattler.
I said Spencer Rattler and DJ.
They was booing that man. They wanted Caleb Williams out there. They're like, we want Caleb. That jump was so funny.
Oklahoma's still winning the
I don't think neither one of us have predicted Matt Corral to be where he was, but I did predict Bryce Young was going to win it, and I think he's in for sure second spot right now behind Matt Corral. But I'm gonna be honest with you, the playoffs I had Bama, Ohio State, Iowa State, Oregon, and then Georgia and Clemson just missing out. Clemson's about to be dropped out of the top 25. They lose another game. But
they're not making the playoffs, so
my season outlook was decent other than the Iowa State flop.
I think you meant Iowa.
No, I meant Iowa State.
I mean Iowa?
Yes, I'm positive. Sure? I know you're trying to help me, save me, but I meant Iowa State.
Oh no, yeah, I don't know. You might have messed up a little somewhere right there. I had Oklahoma, Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson. Ohio State.
I didn't even have Oklahoma in it. I was slick right.
A good defense
Oklahoma
is gonna shake Ohio State.
This is the thing. Like we were talking about. We've been talking about over this past year. This game has changed to an offensive game, but this year has weighed heavily on how good your defense can play.
Yeah, this year has shifted more to defense. It's crazy.
This year is crazy.
Like,
this is going to be one of the better years of college football.
Because it's in the air right now. And honestly,
SEC,
it's real because I think
Georgia
wins, and Bama just separates from everyone when you talk about pure team dominance. You got Bama and Georgia. I mean, we'll see what Arkansas is. If Arkansas wins this game against Georgia, then Arkansas is in that conversation. And it won't be good for Georgia because they're in a pickle. And it once again it makes me change my season again. But I mean, there's a lot.
Georgia
going on.
Tech
this week's crazy.
The ACC championship game. This crazy.
This week is honestly insane because Arkansas reminds me a lot of Florida. They're pretty much just like Florida. So I think this game right here could honestly give us a little sneak peek of what we're going to see from Florida. It's just Florida got a little bit more talent.
Who did I say was the next Auburn? Did I say it was Florida?
Nah, you said Florida was our Auburn. We said that off air. You said Florida was going to be our Auburn.
I said Florida's turning into our.
They'll beat
Auburn.
us every now and then. Yeah, but then we'll still dominate them.
All right, we are getting completely. This is a Georgia
off topic.
Georgia wins outright for me. I said 35-24. With the spread, I'm picking Arkansas 17.5 points on that. Y'all can bet on that if y'all want to. I have it on the college pick'em. I have proof that I'm picking Arkansas with the spread of 17.5. Yeah. So I'm just going on air saying that. So whenever Arkansas loses by 11 by my prediction, I could still win money, but I'm not even betting. So, hey.
Georgia 33-17.
I've been doing fine with this stuff. This little practice free betting I'm doing. I've been doing fine. I ain't gonna count.
Should bet more on Iowa State. Probably give you some extra help in the predictions. You messed them up. It's been Sports Junkies. It's been Kid. We got Cam.
You already know.
Make sure you guys subscribe today to become a junkie. Until next time, guys. See you soon.